the Sustainability Management Master's Program, you are answering one simple question. Do you care about your future generation? If you care about your kids, their grandkids, then you care about sustainability. And a sustainability manager is someone who has the tools to make people understand how they can contribute towards developing a sustainable world. We have both part-time and full-time students. Our curriculum is 30 hours. Instead of thesis, we have a research project course and a seminar course which provides them with the kind of research background they will need to be successful in their job. But at the same time, sustainability is not always everything about environment. It also relates to the business. They will take a sustainable business strategies course. They will take a project management course. Most of these courses are going to be taught by industry people, the people who are doing sustainability on a daily basis as a part of their job. Any organization that has a large number of employees and has a physical infrastructure, they will have to have a sustainability office. If you have the passion to develop and maintain a sustainable world, come to us and we will help you shape your passion into a career which will create an impact.
Thank you, Dr. Gibbs. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you. As Dr. Gibbs mentioned, my name is Vince Caldwell. I manage the Community Collaborative Initiative out of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. We are an organization dedicated to solving environmental issues in the most distressed areas of New Jersey. We see a nexus between environmental, economic, and quality of life issues, and find out when we move one forward, we move all three. Since we were reestablished in 2023 in the SEER department of NJDEP, SEER stands for Community Investment and Economic Revitalization, we have been moving fast in our cities, finding answers to issues that our cities are facing. The three liaisons that are about to speak to are dedicated to moving environmental issues forward in their cities and have done a tremendous job. The success of the program lies with the liaisons. So without further ado, allow me to introduce you to the CCI team speaking with you today. We have Corey V. Scott. Corey has a prior experience working at DEP as a compliance assistant manager. Before joining DEP, Corey worked as an environmental educator for nonprofits. In addition, Corey has over a decade's worth of experience working at the county level performing open space stewardship. Corey has valuable experience engaging communities with environmental policy as well as leading conservation efforts throughout New Jersey. Corey's been a great standout for us and is pursuing her master's degree in public administration with Rutgers currently. Our next speaker, I'm not sure if I have these in order, excuse me on that point, but Catherine Doman will be speaking as well. Catherine is an AmeriCorps watershed ambassador for the Mullica River watershed prior to joining CCI. During that time, she developed and implemented community-based projects and collaborated with local organizations to enhance community involvement in environmental protection efforts. Catherine has her bachelor's in conservation and wildlife management from Delaware Valley University. And in her free time, she enjoys traveling, gaming, and spending time with family, friends, and pets. Catherine came in a year after we started, has been doing a tremendous job with us. And our third speaker will be Tiffany Falcone. Tiffany began her DEP career in 2017, shortly after completing the AmeriCorps Watershed Ambassadors Program. She worked in site remediation program where she gained environmental policy experience, where she collaborated with different levels and branches of government to bring contaminated sites back into compliance. Prior to joining CCI, she holds two bachelor's degrees in biology and chemistry from Sacred Heart University, and Tiffany is pursuing her public administration master's degree with Rutgers. Pleasure introducing all three, and I think you're going to enjoy what they have to talk about. Thank you.
Welcome, Corey, Tiffany, and Catherine. Thank you, Vince. Go ahead.
All right, I will kick it off with the beginning of our introduction. So thank you, Vince, for that great introduction. It was very appreciated. So we are the Community Collaborative Initiative with New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. You can go to the next slide. So the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection is made up of 7 groups currently. So Tiffany, Corey, I, and Vince are all in the Community Collaborative Initiative, which is housed under the Community Investment and Economic Revitalization. We love our acronyms in DEP, so we also call it SEER. The DEP has over 3,000 employees working, but today we're going to be focusing on one project that we have within CCI. In this organization chart, you'll see two highlighted areas. The first is SEER, which I'll be going into a little bit more in the next slide. And the other is the contaminated site remediation and redevelopment, which will come back up later in the presentation. Do the next slide. So SEER includes several different offices and programs. The first is an Office of Natural Resource Restoration, or ONRR. There's the Historic Preservation Office, which is HPO. There's Green Acres and State Land Acquisition. There's Economic Analysis, and then also the Office of Community and Local Government Assistance. And then under that umbrella is Local Government Assistance, which is LGA, and us, the Community Collaborative Initiative. Next slide. There we go. So we work in, where are we going?
Sorry, I went too fast.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh, it's going forward again.
All right.
Only going forward? Yeah.
It's only going forward. I don't know why it's only going forward.
You can tell that we don't have tech backgrounds.
Yes.
We don't have Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, we also work off Teams, so.
All right, there we go. Perfect. Thank you. So the Community Collaborative Initiative is a place-based partnership between the DEP and communities throughout the state. Our goal is to align social, economic, and natural resource needs and opportunities in a way that helps promote quality of life, community revitalization, and equitable economic development. A big part of our work is building and maintaining relationships, both within the DEP and outside of it, which includes working with community leaders, nonprofits, community groups, local government partners, and other state agencies so that we can collaborate and have it more effective. CCI helps to communicate and prioritize the needs of each municipality in a way that aligns with DEP's overall mission, priorities, and goals. With a strong understanding of available programs, support services, and subject matters across the department, we play an important role in helping projects move forward from planning to implementation. So at the end of the day, the easiest way to describe what we do is that we basically connect people, places, resources, and expertise to make larger projects happen. I always like to equate it to like doing a puzzle. So we take puzzle pieces and we try to see where they fit best. You do next slide. Okay, so CCI is primarily in 12 of the New Jersey's most distressed communities. These cities are Paterson, Newark, Jersey City, Bayonne, Perth Amboy, Trenton, Camden, Paulsboro, Salem City, Bridgeton, Vineland, and Millville. So these communities often face overlapping environmental, economic, and quality of life challenges, which is why we as CCI focus in these areas. Our role is to help connect local needs with DEP resources, partners, and opportunities that can have more meaningful improvements. At the same time, our work is not limited to only these cities. We always try to be responsive. If someone reaches out to us for help, we always do our best to connect them with the right people or programs. So while these are our main focus cities, we'll help anyone that reaches out to us. Next slide. So our projects and connections, this is going to touch more on what we work on day to day. So we are involved directly with projects and also with establishing and maintaining relationships that help make projects successful. Some of our current projects include Employee Day of Service events. So that's where DEP employees are allowed once per quarter to volunteer during a weekday. There's also the Illegal Dumping Camera Program, which you'll hear more about. There's the Jersey City Collaborative for nonprofit resource sharing that Corey's been working really hard on. There's project alignment efforts, landfill redevelopment work in Bridgeton that Vince has been working on, and Tiffany, and I will be shortly working on because I'll be moving to the south. There's food desert investment discussions in Trenton, and ongoing work in Salem and Penns Grove. A large part of this work depends on building and maintaining our connections. Includes a project alignment with sister state agencies. So we've been working with the Department of Transportation and the Department of Education. There's community-based organizations that we also work with, and then local government employees and elected officials. A lot of what we do is helping make sure that the right people are connected and moving in the same direction. We also spend a lot of time attending meetings and staying involved in community spaces. So we attend green team meetings, environmental commission meetings, steering committees, nonprofit meetings. We go to conferences, and we also stay in touch with internal DEP staff and other state departments. So a recent example is some work we're just kind of tying up right now is our spring cleanups for the Employee Day of Service events. And we currently have events lined up in Jersey City, Trenton, Perth Amboy, and I believe we just added Salem like earlier today. This is one example of how our relationship building and coordination can turn into a visible and on-the-ground community project. And with that, I'm going to pass it to, I believe, Corey.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. And thank you before Vince for that lovely introduction of what we do. All of you can hear me, right? I just want to do a mic check really quick. Cool. So we're going to be now transitioning and focusing on the next section, which is on our illegal dumping camera program, specifically the collaboration and deterrence side of the work that we've done towards this. We wanted to include this project because it's a strong example of teamwork and communication that can really affect the outcome of a public program, especially one that has cross-jurisdiction and involves many different partners involved. And what's great about this project too is that you'll see that it transitioned over time in the history of it, because it didn't first work out great as we were intending and hoping for it to, but it has evolved and turned into a great program that we were hoping that it originally was going to be. Illegal dumping matters a lot for a lot of different reasons. It affects neighborhood appearances, community pride, and the overall quality of life. And it can also create environmental and public health concerns, especially in communities that are already overburdened. There's a strong environmental justice connection here, and illegal dumping often happens in places that are already dealing with a lot of long-standing challenges. This program is not just about stopping the dumping, it's also about improving neighborhoods, supporting those local residents, and showing how collaboration between agencies and communities can lead to better results. We can go to the next slide. So before jumping straight into the program, it helps to define some of the keywords that we'll be talking about, because I know some of us might not understand some of the definitions of the words that we're going to be using. So illegal dumping refers to the unlawful disposal of large quantities of waste in places that it's not permitted, whether those areas are public or private areas. In New Jersey, the Solid Waste Management Act gives DEP and county health departments the authority to take civil action against these illegal dumping violations. And that can include penalties up to $50,000, as well as possible vehicle confiscation. It is also important to understand that the connection of environmental justice communities to this. In New Jersey, there's generally a definition of a census block groups where at least 35% of households are low income, at least 40% of residents identify as a minority or tribal, or at least 40% of households have limited English proficiency. These definitions matter because illegal dumping often happens in greatest impacts on these communities that are already facing other environmental and social burdens. That is one of the reasons why this issue is not just about enforcement, but is about fairness, health, and the quality of life in these communities. Next slide. So the mission of this program is twofold. First, it's meant to deter illegal dumping, and then second, it's meant to empower municipalities to take an active role in addressing these illegal dumpings that are happening within their own communities. The program operates through a 10-month equipped loan contract which gives municipalities the opportunity to use cameras and to build experience with the program while also working along DEP staff and other partners. This collaboration effort across several DEP and state partners is key when including the compliance and enforcement programs. The collaboration between our CCI program and the Attorney General divisions of Criminal Justice and the Division of Law. Municipalities participating in this program are not expected to do this work alone, which would be really hard if we did expect them to do it alone. They're not, they are supported by several resources, including CCI, the vendor service support through the troubleshooting hotline that they have with the contract with us, online access to vendor training materials, and the opportunity to learn from their cohort of other members in the cities that also are utilizing and participating in this program. Overall, the goal is not to provide equipment, but also to create support for this system, and it helps municipalities build capacity and to see real results that are happening within their community. Next slide. Oh, unless Tiffany, you wanted to play the sound. There's also a sound that these give off. Ooh, did it play? That's okay if it doesn't too. It has a very authoritative man saying that stop, you've been in an unrestricted area, to kind of deter people away from dumping in that area as well. You could use your imagination for the rest. All right, so this is the part that we kind of mentioned before, and I know Catherine had touched on it when we had first talked about on the slide. So this used to be housed in the Contaminated Site and Remediation and Redevelopment group. So in the earlier phases, that's where it was housed in the enforcement unit, and they received technical support from brownfields within site remediation. So site remediation is a very large group. At the time the cameras were deployed, it was directed to a small group of mayors for the rollout, and largely centered around state enforcement and municipality leadership. A few municipalities had received the cameras, signage, and had a broad foundation of whether this was going to be a really successful program or not. And they were in charge of also where the cameras were going to be placed. One of the biggest challenges that happened with this was that there was limited community buy-in. Residents were not meaningfully engaged about the design or the rollout of the program. There was support offered, but the process was still kind of burdensome, and local government groups were essentially being asked to learn and maintain a fairly complex camera system without clear training path and a strong sense of leadership ownership. As a result, the first deployment did not really perform well as it intended to, and the cameras were not being used effectively as hoped. So the program needed to be reevaluated. And this really became a reality check for our group. So our first camera rollout was underperformed, so we made a decision to recall the units and then pause the expansion. From there, we moved to reset and redesign the phase, and we took a step back to look at what was not working and went back to the first principles to really rethink the program. That redesign gave us a clearer understanding of how to really better structure our program and how to place our, limited camera resources into more effectively moving it forward. And I'm going to pass it off to Tiffany.
Thanks, Corey. So the kickoff that we did for this reiteration of the illegal dumping camera program, we wanted to build on a lot of data. And so we wanted to be able to communicate with our communities on a continuous basis. And so we set up round robin check-in meetings that we did monthly once everybody's cameras were put up. So everybody was able to share their struggles. So it didn't feel like oh, I'm doing something wrong, the cameras don't work. Everybody was able to learn from one another and hear like, oh, there's a quick answer to this. We also had QStar on those monthly calls with us to do any kind of troubleshooting and also updates or any kind of like, hey, have you guys used this new feature? If you guys aren't taking a look at license plates, here's an opportunity for you to do so. We started the program, we did training in August, and most of our municipalities got the cameras up within about 60 days. So, not the biggest time of year for illegal dumping in a lot of these communities. They are high rental areas. So, there is a lot of like clear outs that are being done that you'll see mattresses or couches on the side of the road. But in terms of like doing renovations to your home and then piling up sheetrock on the side of the road or dumping any kind of industrial materials or construction materials is very popular in the springtime. So we ended up having a couple of months to really test how our municipalities were using the cameras and set them up for the springtime when illegal dumping traditionally gets a little bit busier of a business. We wanted to make sure that we were including metrics on, is your camera up? Is it functioning? Do you need any kind of amnesty days? We can help coordinate those with the municipal side. So a lot of the staff from the municipalities that came and got the training were DPW or police. And so they're able to issue citations. They're the ones doing the street team, kind of driving around, seeing what's going on in the community. But we needed the municipal government to set up amnesty days with their trash and recycling companies or in-house. So we're able to make that connection for them because we're liaisons, we're embedded in those communities, and we're constantly having these meetings every month. So we're able to have something to really connect with in our communities as well. The initiatives that we started with each of the communities, so not every one of the 12 that we work in participated, unfortunately. But each one of them that did really talked up how great of a program it was. It is really intended for deterrence. So unfortunately, the scary voice didn't work. But there's a warning and a flash, and then a picture gets taken. And so it's pretty loud. It's pretty pretty abrupt. And so we were actually able to get some traction with the Department of Transportation. They heard about our program through one of the League of Municipalities or one of the other conferences that we attended and got a shout out. And so they wanted to partner and receive some cameras through this program as well. We have FIFA coming up, so they want to make sure that New Jersey is pretty and beautiful and not full of trash. We don't want to feed into the stereotypes. And so all of these pieces, so there's several different agencies involved, several different levels. And it matters for the success of the program because we're able to continue it. So it's been 2 years now that we've been working on this. And now we've got DOT involved. We're going to be expanding to other municipalities as well because we have enough equipment. The municipalities that we do service, they each have 2 cameras and they're able to rotate them as well. So that's helpful for if you've got hotspots, you can put a camera up there. Criminals are going to criminal, and so they'll go find a different spot to do it. You can move the camera and let people know that you're keeping track of them. One of the ways that the DPW and the street team would issue citations, they have to go through any kind of trash bags or anything. So if I paid Joe's Contracting to remove all the junk out of my apartment because I moved and my mail is in that bag, the DPW would see that it's my name and they would reach out to me and issue me a citation. And even though I paid Joe's Services to come and do that, it's still my responsibility. And so I would be the one receiving the citation. So it's a lot of different enforcement, and kind of being able to get a singular message out is important. Okay. So some of the metrics that we wanted to look at were obviously based on the trash, how many summonses you're being issued, what the violation dollar amounts were, any kind of recidivism. So people that maybe did a dumping in Vineland, got in trouble, they're going to go across the border into Millville. So being able to track those on a state level versus just a municipal level is helpful as well, because municipalities don't typically talk, but we're able to get these people in the room together and have these conversations. So yeah, we're measuring incidents and tonnage, but we also wanted to measure trust and participation in the program. So any kind of progress in the community of responding to any kind of phone calls or repeat concerns from residents, as well as the elected officials and the city staff, is important. So DEP has a hotline, 877-WARN-DEP, and you can call in any kind of dumping that you see on the side of the road. Tires count. And so anything that's like, I don't know, I feel like we see it so much that we're kind of immune to it sometimes, but it should be reported so that it's not contributing to contamination downstream. So the hotline calls we expected to increase because we want our community to be invested in what's happening around them. So we want to encourage buy-in and also know where to move the cameras. So being able to keep everybody in the loop as to what's going on is important. Some of this data that we were able to collect, we started doing maps of our progress and displaying pins of hits, whether it was a deterrence. So you'd get a picture of somebody with a sofa on the back of their pickup truck, and the camera would go off, and then you go back the next day, but there's no couch there, there's no sofa. So that would be a positive thing. That's a deterrent. And so that's a positive outcome that we would like to see. It's hard to tell with these cameras though, because they're not constantly telling you when there's a photo taken. So you have to go back and see, like, somebody drove down this road. They don't normally drive down that road. What were they doing? Oh, they were going to go dump that couch that was on the back of their truck. And then the camera went off and they drove right back out. So we're able to map those, and that's helped the community as well with figuring out where they may need additional cameras, additional policing, additional community buy-in. Employee days of service. So this is one of our events that we did with the Hackensack River Keeper up in Bayonne. We've got a significant number of community staff that came out that day. It's a popular event. We go out on kayaks around the park and remove trash from the river there, and also within the park itself if you don't have your sea legs. And as Catherine mentioned earlier, these days of service are great for DEP staff, but they also help with the community that we are servicing and doing these events in. So typically they would be needing to pay their DPW staff to go out and clean the parks, or their park staff or whoever it is in the municipality. And so having DEP staff come out to do this helps to kind of show a presence of DEP staff in your community that we care, and also help alleviate some of the responsibilities of staff that is already cleaning up an entire city that we're able to help them mitigate some of the issues that they have. There was also a contaminated site on the other side of this park. So now we've been able to connect some dots together with EPA, it being a known contaminated site, and also the DEP staff that's been kind of the project managers for the site, so that we can get into the fenced off area to help clean up some of the non-point source pollution that's over there as well. a couple of additional resources from DEP staff. Parks and Historic Sites is great if you're looking to get out into your community. They have different events listed. Uniting Financial Resources is a grants and loan program page. So any kind of DEP specific grants is on there. Air monitoring, several of the communities where we have the illegal dumping camera program are participating in an air monitoring program that's being launched this spring, I believe. It's the last I heard about it. I've not been in on the meetings. So, but they're great for going out and checking on a lot of the calls that our communities are sending to the DEP hotline. Another resource is EJ seminars. So they also have listening sessions as well on that EJ site. And those are really great for tracking what's in your, it goes by county. So you can see what's happening in your specific county. So you can sign up for multiple counties. It doesn't make a difference. Watersheds are not bound by municipal or county lines. So anything that's happening upstream might be of interest to you. And thank you. There's our new governor, the mayor of Patterson, clean communities, some of our employee days of service events. So we love what we do. There is a note in the chat, so I'll get to that in a second. I think we have some resources for employment opportunities.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Thank you all. For sure, we learned a lot and probably there are questions. Catherine, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. My question that I was kind of thinking about the whole time is you kind of mentioned some of the things that people will dump, like, furniture and things like that. I was kind of wondering, what are the most common things you see? And is it really just kind of on an individual level, or do you kind of get a lot more like companies or local businesses like doing illegal dumping?
Great
So-
question. I think we can kind of bounce around on this. It really depends on the city, honestly, and I don't know if anybody else disagrees, but up north, a lot of what they're seeing is it coming from New York, which is interesting. I think Patterson had a lot of issues where, contractors and people who were, rebuilding something, a lot of construction waste was coming over and being dumped in Patterson area. I believe Jersey City is also having the same issue, and Bayonne too. Unfortunately, Jersey City and Bayonne are our cities, but they didn't apply for the grant and get in, but we're still trying to get them in to the program because I know that they could definitely utilize it. We talked a little bit about our DOT partnership. They want to start implementing the cameras up north in some of the more congested, popular areas to dump waste alongside our state highways. So a lot of that, they said, specifically happens in Patterson too. So they're kind of seeing the same, construction debris up north. I can pass it back to Tiffany and Catherine because I'm sure they have more to add for the southern areas.
I think you hit on it pretty well. We are spread out pretty, there's 5 of us that take care of 12 municipalities. And so it's hard to be embedded in each one of them, and they're so vastly different. Even if you want to call South Jersey, Salem City is completely different from Bridgeton. And so being able to build the relationships in those communities and get people to trust us is how we're able to get good data. And I wouldn't say that we're really tracking so much of the like what kind of items are being illegally dumped overall. So to compare what's happening in Salem to what's happening in Vineland, we don't have a basis for the entire state. And so we can compare them within the illegal dumping camera program itself, but as a larger New Jersey issue, I think construction debris is pretty high up there. These cameras were initially purchased as part of a Don't Waste Your Open Space program that DEP ran. And so if you want to do a little bit of research on that, you can see like what the metrics were as to why we went and purchased the cameras in the first place is pretty interesting. And so I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. I think I wasn't expecting construction waste. I guess because you just think like, if there's a construction site, they have a method to dispose. So it's kind